Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're embarking on a journey, a pretty intense one actually, into one of the most chilling psychological studies ever conducted, the Stanford Prison Experiment.
Yeah, it's definitely something that stays with you.
Our mission, as always, is to take this dense source material, mostly from Philip Zimbardo's book, The Lucifer Effect, and really distill the key insights for you.
We want to uncover how, ordinary people can be transformed by these powerful forces.
And maybe more importantly, how you can recognize those influences and resist them.
Exactly.
This deep dive is brought to you by Thinking to Think.
Yeah.
And we want to thank Mr. Michael Aponte, the series creator.
So the core question we're tackling is huge, isn't it? Can good people truly turn evil?
And what does that mean for us? For our ability to stay true to ourselves when things get tough?
We think there's a really vital truth here. Something important for you to hold on to. Break the script. You were meant to think freely.
Okay, let's unpack that. It's a fascinating, Zimbardo's own background. It wasn't just academic curiosity.
No, not at all. He grew up in the South Bronx ghetto.
Right. And he saw firsthand good kids doing bad things. He talks about stuff like Donnie's father, who could be charming but also incredibly cruel.
That story about making him kneel on rice kernels. Yeah, horrific.
It seems like those early experiences really focused his attention on situational power, didn't they?
Absolutely. It wasn't abstract for him, and that personal lens definitely shaped how the experiment was designed.
So the subjects, let's talk about them. Middle-class, educated college kids.
Yeah, 24 young men. And they were screened, importantly, screened to be normal. No prior arrests, no diagnosed mental health issues, very homogeneous group.
And then the key part, random assignment. Guards or prisoners, just like that.
Totally random, meaning initially they were, as Zimbardo put it, comparable indeed or interchangeable.
Nobody committed a crime to be there. Nobody even asked to be a guard, really.
It was just a coin flip. Started with clean slate, theoretically.
And the place itself, the basement of Stanford's psychology department, Jordan Hall, transformed into what Zimbardo called a total situation.
Right, not just a set. It was designed to be psychologically consuming. Cut off from the outside world, basically.
Yeah.
All the rules, rewards, information, it was all contained within those walls.
And then the induction. Wow. That was something else. Real Palo Alto police officers making surprise arrests.
Yeah, Sunday morning, sirens, flashing lights. It immediately blurred that line between experiment and, reality.
For the prisoners, the dehumanization started right away.
Oh, absolutely. Stripped naked, sprayed with a delousing agent, which wasn't even necessary medically.
Just symbolic degradation.
Exactly. Then the smocks, the numbers instead of names, the stocking caps to simulate shaved heads, the chains on their ankles.
It's all about stripping away individuality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Showing how institutions can do that.
Precisely. And the guards, they got the khaki uniforms, the reflective sunglasses.
Right, the mirror shades. So no eye contact. Hiding emotion.
And the billy clubs. Apparently the first ones were these big ones borrowed from the local police.
Zimbardo's instructions to the guards seemed, kind of basic at first glance. Maintain order, prevent escapes, no physical force.
But then there was that key line. Make them feel as though they were in prison. Quite suggestive.
And he thought the night shift would be easy. Prisoners sleeping. Not much to do.
Yeah, that assumption turned out to be profoundly wrong.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
The change was incredibly fast, wasn't it?
Almost disturbingly fast. Day one, the degradation rituals were in full swing. Stripping prisoners, imposing rules.
Like having to call guards Mr. Correctional Officer.
Yep.
And using only numbers for prisoners.
Yep. And some guards jumped right in. Guard Arnett's first show of authority. Guard Vandy later talked about, actually enjoying the power, harassing prisoners.
He even said he started bossing his mother around at home.
Right. It shows how that role just bled into his real life almost instantly.
And Zimbardo's own role in this, his admission of the evil of inaction. That's huge.
It really is. His passivity, allowing the abuse to continue. He got caught up in it too, didn't he? As the prison superintendent, not just the lead researcher.
It suggests we're all vulnerable, even the ones supposedly in control.
That's a critical point. If the person who designed the situation, who understood the psychology, could get lost in it, what does that say about the rest of us?
Things really escalated by day two. The prisoners rebelled.
Yeah, they barricaded themselves in their cells, shouted obscenities, a real pushback.
But the guards' response was immediate and harsh.
Oh, yeah. Fire extinguishers to break in, stripping them naked again, taking away beds, group punishments like mass push-ups, 70 push-ups.
And this is when prisoner 8612 started to break.
Feeling ill, strange, convinced his cap was still on his head when it wasn't, he begged to see a doctor.
But the researchers, Zimbardo included initially, just dismissed it, said it was a defect in his personality.
That's the fundamental attribution error right there. Blaming the person, ignoring the overwhelming power of the situation they created. It's such an easy trap to fall into.
Yeah. We see bad behavior, we assume a bad person.
Exactly. And even the attempt at process, the grievance committee,
Yeah.
it was just for show, wasn't it?
Pretty much. Kurt Banks listened, took no notes, just promised to pass suggestions up the chain. It looked like democracy, but it just reinforced the power structure.
No real avenue for change, just maintaining control.
And as the days went on, those lines just kept blurring. Day 3, Parents Visiting Day.
Oh, right. The hypocritical masquerade.
They hid the troublemakers, cleaned things up, tried to air out the stench.
And Zimbardo himself was manipulating the parents, playing on their pride, questioning if their sons were man enough to handle it.
It's kind of unbelievable, the level of deception.
It really is. And look at Guard Varnish, his internal shift.
Yeah, he said he consciously decided to shut off all feelings, lose sympathy, lose respect for the prisoners.
He forced himself into the role. And the most shocking part, afterwards he realized how alien his actions were to his normal self yet.
He felt no regret, no guilt at the time.
Exactly. The situation just completely altered his moral compass in the moment. Made the unthinkable seem normal.
And it wasn't just the direct participants. A real priest visited, right? Someone used to actual prisons.
Yep. And even he got caught up in the illusion. He reinforced it, saying it was good, it would teach them.
Despite knowing it was an experiment.
Right. It shows how deep the simulation ran. Only one prisoner, 5486, the most level-headed guy, kept calling it an experiment.
He held on to that external perspective. Which was incredibly rare.
Extremely rare. Even the designated spy, David, who was supposed to be observing for the researchers,
Reflipped.
Almost immediately. Became sympathetic to the prisoners. The situation was just too powerful, even for someone meant to be detached. The barrel was just that strong.
And the abuse just kept getting worse. More insults, more deindividuation.
You know, humor left, just arbitrary cruelty, like punishing Clay 416 for his hunger strike over filthy sausages.
And then the sexual humiliation. Forced nudity, simulating sodomy. It got incredibly dark.
Horrifyingly dark. It shows what happens when there's no oversight, when a situation allows cruelty to escalate unchecked.
So, what finally stopped it?
Christina Maslach, Zimbardo's then-girlfriend, now wife, a social psychologist herself, but crucially, an outsider to the day-to-day running of the experiment.
She hadn't been carried along bit by bit.
Exactly. She came in with fresh eyes on day 6 and was appalled. She apparently had this incredibly emotional outburst.
What you are doing to those boys is a terrible thing.
That was the wake-up call Zimbardo needed. He finally ended it. 6 days in, not the planned 2 weeks. Her outside perspective broke the spell.
So stepping back from the, frankly, horrifying details.
Yeah.
The big lesson isn't about finding bad apples, is it?
No, not at all. These were normal people. The experiment screams that it's about the bad barrel, the situation, the system.
How does that change how we should think about behavior?
Well, it forces us to look beyond the individual. Zimbardo talks about 3 levels of power. There's personal power, our individual traits, then situational power, the context, which the SPE showed can totally overwhelm personal power.
Right.
And then, maybe the most important and often overlooked, is systemic power. The broader political, economic, legal, cultural forces that create and legitimize situations. Often hidden, often powerful.
That really challenges the simple good versus evil idea, doesn't it?
Completely. It suggests an incremental view of evil. Not a fixed state, but something any of us are capable of, given the right or maybe wrong circumstances.
Like that Escher drawing of angels turning into devils.
Exactly. The line is permeable. Think of Lucifer, the light bearer, becoming Satan. Our nature isn't fixed. Situations can change us. It's unsettling, but vital to grasp.
So what are the mechanisms? How does this corruption actually happen?
Well, one key idea is moral disengagement. Basically, switching your morality off.
Putting it in neutral.
Yeah. Albert Bandura's work is crucial here. He showed how easily it can happen, like just labeling people animals in an experiment made participants much more aggressive towards them. Words matter. They can switch off our empathy.
And then there's deindividuation. losing your sense of self in the crowd or behind a mask.
Right. Anonymity unleashes things. Zimbardo's earlier abandoned car study showed that cars stripped bare in the anonymous Bronx, untouched in Palo Alto where people felt more identifiable.
Even Halloween masks can do it, apparently.
Yeah, kids are more likely to take extra candy when anonymous. Less personal responsibility when you're not you.
Then there's the huge one, conformity and obedience.
Oh, massive. You have Sharif's work showing how group norms literally shape perception, even of a dot of light.
And Ash's conformity studies. People giving obviously wrong answers just to fit in.
Yeah, 75% conformed at least once. We often avoid critical thinking just to go along with the majority.
Which leads us to Milgram. That's probably the most famous, right?
And arguably the most disturbing. 65% of people willing to deliver potentially lethal shocks just because an authority figure told them to.
Even when the person was screaming.
Yeah. And remember that study with the puppy. 100% of women obeyed fully. It's deeply ingrained.
And it happens in the real world. Those fast food strip search scams, nurses obeying bogus phone orders.
It shows the danger of just following orders without thinking. Then there's the whole process of creating the enemy.
The hostile imagination.
Exactly. How propaganda dehumanizes people to justify violence. We saw it with the Nazis, Rwanda, Nanking.
And you see echoes in things like the Abu Ghraib trophy photos, right?
Sadly, yes. Once you dehumanize someone, abuse becomes much easier.
And finally, the evil of inaction, just standing by.
The bystander effect. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Kitty Genovese is the classic case.
Or those seminary students stepping over someone in distress because they were late for a talk on the Good Samaritan.
The irony is painful, but it happens, even systemically, like the failures during Hurricane Katrina. Silence and inaction can be devastating.
Which brings us almost inevitably to Abu Ghraib. The parallels with the SPE are, well, they're stark.
Uncanny, really. The official Schlesinger report investigating Abu Ghraib actually cited the Stanford Prison Experiment, called it a cautionary tale.
History repeating itself, almost literally.
It seems that way. And you look at individuals like Staff Sergeant Ivan Chip Frederick.
Described as a good soldier, right? No prior issues.
Unreported, high ratings. But he himself talked about needing acceptance, being easily swayed, hating to be alone, vulnerable to influence. Not a monster, just human in a toxic place.
And that Abu Ghraib barrel was incredibly toxic.
Extreme stress, overcrowding, constant mortar attacks, fear.
Lack of training, too, you mentioned.
Yeah.
MPs clueless about how to handle detainees properly.
Right. Poor training, few resources, a recipe for problems.
And then the direct orders to soften up detainees.
Yeah, coming from interrogators, CIA, contractors, loosen this guy up, make sure he's a bad night, explicit encouragement for abuse.
Plus secrecy, anonymity. Interrogators hiding identities, CIA operating outside the rules.
A perfect storm. And it was enabled from the top down, wasn't it?
That's what the sources suggest. The war on terror rhetoric, redefining torture, authorizing extreme tactics by high officials like Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld. It created a climate where abuse felt justified, even sanctioned.
Leading to that pervasive dehumanization, treating detainees like dogs.
Which paved the way for the actual abuses we saw in those horrific photos.
Yeah.
Forced nudity, pyramids, dog attacks, sexual humiliation, mock electrocutions.
A direct reflection, tragically, of the dynamic seen in the SPE, but with real-world devastating consequences.
But even in that darkness, there were people who resisted. Whistleblowers?
Yes. Heroes, really. Like Joe Darby, the MP who leaked the photos, he agonized over it. Loyalty versus conscience.
Said it violated everything I personally believed.
And Eric Saar, the translator who exposed the sex as a weapon tactics at Guantanamo.
These individuals show that resistance is possible. They didn't just go along, they acted.
They are crucial reminders that even in the worst situations, some people do break the script.
So how do we take all this heavy, frankly disturbing information, and use it? How do we build strategies for our own freedom, our own ability to resist these pressures?
Well, remembering Christina Maslach is a good start. The power of the outsider perspective.
Because she wasn't caught up in the day-to-day escalation.
Exactly. She had fresh eyes. We need to cultivate that ability in ourselves to step back, to see things clearly.
So one strategy is mindfulness, not living on autopilot.
Right. Actively reflecting, asking yourself, what's really going on here? Am I thinking for myself or just reacting? Take that pause.
And questioning norms and authority, not blindly accepting things.
Absolutely. Knowing when to conform and when to dissent. Remember, minority dissent actually makes groups think harder, make better decisions. Don't be afraid to be that dissenting voice.
Understanding the tricks of the trade helps too, right? Like influence tactics.
Definitely. Knowing about things like the foot in the door technique, starting small, then asking for more helps you spot manipulation, whether it's a sales pitch or something more serious.
And I really like this idea of the banality of heroism.
Me too. It takes heroism off a pedestal. It's not just for superheroes or soldiers.
It's a choice anyone might face.
Exactly. Voluntary action, maybe involving risk or sacrifice, social, financial, whatever, in service of others or principle. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard or unpopular.
Like those civil heroes you mentioned. Edward Tolman refusing the loyalty oath.
Ronald Reidenauer exposing my lay, Colleen Rowley at the FBI, Debbie Layton and Richard Clark escaping Jonestown.
And Darby and Sarah, of course.
Their stories prove courage isn't just physical, it's moral courage. It's choosing to think freely and act on it, often at great personal cost.
So we've taken a deep dive into how powerful situations and systems can truly be, how they can shape us in ways we might not even realize.
Yeah, influencing ordinary people to do extraordinary things, both good and bad.
But we've also seen that individual power, the power to resist, to question, to stand firm, that's incredibly potent too.
Yeah. Your awareness really is your shield here. Your critical thinking is your superpower. So remember this. Break the script. You were meant to think freely.
This has been another deep dive from Thinking to Think, created by Mr. Michael Lapont. We genuinely hope this discussion has given you something valuable to reflect on.
Please share it if you found it useful. Question it, discuss it, and above all, stay curious.